Well, good morning, stamping friends. How is everyone doing today? I'm doing pretty good. I am just going to get my computer set up here so I can share with you today. Get my host code there. Well, I hope you're all having a great Tuesday morning, October 13th. Today is my granddaughter's birthday, so I have a busy day planned, but I wanted to make sure that I connected with everyone today because I'm trying hard to stay with my schedule here. We're going to make a Christmas card today, and the stamp set that I'm using is one that came out last year. It's called Perfectly Plaid, and I chose that one because it goes so well with our sale going on that's has the designer series paper, and it uses Perfectly Plaid, Plaid Tidings designer series paper. So these two work well together. I was inspired by a Christmas card that I received from my downline last year. So I used her sketch, and then I changed some of the products that I used on it, but I'm so thankful. Her name was Susan Lorri, and she is such a talented gal. I sure wish she had a blog because I get a lot of ideas from her. So I just wanted to do a quick shout out to her for the inspiration. So for starters, you're just going to take cherry cobbler cardstock, and I took an 11 by 4¼ inch piece of cardstock and scored it down the middle, which means that's at 5½. Then just fold it in half. And then the next layer is the Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper. I think this is one of my favorite in the pack because it's got the traditional colors, red and green, and then it has crumb cake. The actual colors are cherry cobbler and shaded spruce. So we're just going to do a simple layer on the front and just place that right smack in the middle like that. Now the next layer we're going to do is using the nestled dies, and I believe this one's the largest one. This is about 4 3/4 inches by 2½ inches. And what I did, oh shoot, I shouldn't have cut that. I shouldn't have taped it already. I already made a line where I want to slice this at. So I'm just going to cut on that line. And let me let you know about where that is. It's about 1 1/4 inches from one of the points. So just slice that. If you prefer to use your paper trimmer, that's fine. And the next layer is crumb cake. And this is the second largest one, which is 4 1/4 inches by about 2 1/4 inch. Now we just want to layer this, and so just kind of line it up and hold it where you'd like it to go so it's about in the middle. Flip it over, and we will just trim that so the edges are even, just a straight cut across like that. Now we're just going to adhere these together with your snail. This part is going to come together pretty fast and easy, and just like that. All right, now we can go ahead and put this on the card front already. I usually use the mini dimensionals in my poker tool. I can never remember the technical name for this. You know what it is. On one end, there's that little rubber strip or rubber end that will grab a pearl or a rhinestone or whatever, and then the other end I like to put the poker tool on because it's easier for me to poke the dimensionals. Now we're just going to offset this not even 1/2 inch like this. Okay, there. Now let's do some stamping. So we're going to set this aside. I chose the stamp that is the plaid one. Look at all these nice sentiments and tree images, and there's a punch that matches this, which makes it really fast and easy. And so just take a piece of white scrap paper, and the nice thing about Stampin' Up! Is all our colors go so well together, so you don't have to guess what color to use. We are just going to ink this up with shaded spruce, and let me see, let's just stamp up here. And I'm going to do another one because I can't remember which way the punch goes. I'll show you what I mean. This is the punch that coordinates with it. And we are going to use the bottom one. I first stamped it up there thinking, oh, it's not going to reach far enough. So that's why I stamped it the second one. I thought of it after I stamped it. All right, so just line that up and punch. And now here's a nice little trick that I remember asking Susan, how in the world did you do this? So we're just going to punch another shaded spruce one like this. And we want to make a little border. So what we're going to do is take the one that we just punched and cut it right down the middle in half. Now we're just going to put our snail on the back side of this because we want that, we want the green one to stick to it. So we're just going to offset it a tiny bit like that. Just so it gives, oh, you know what, this is the wrong side. There is a left and a right side. They aren't symmetrical. So make sure you grab the right side and just make that line up. Kind of try to aim for the top to meet up there, but it's not going to exactly because it's, you know, it's the same size. So there's going to be a little gap up there, but just try to get it as close as you can because we're going to cover up where they kind of meet up there. All right, now we're going to put dimensionals on the back, and for this one I like to use the larger ones because it's going to hold that seam in place so they don't slide around. All right, then let's put this on the front of the card like this. Now, like I said, we want to close that gap up at the top. So we're going to put a little star in there, and I already cut this out. If I sneeze, it could blow and I won't find it again, so be careful. So we'll just put a little dot at the top of the tree, and then we will place this. And this star, just grab whatever you have in your stash. I just went through all my dies, and Friesen Fun has a little star. That's what this one is from. Or the Happy Dies have a little star, or maybe you have a punch, or just use whatever you want, but you just want a tiny star up there. All right, now the next part is we're going to fill up this area with a bow. And I know this green isn't the same, but let me show you what I did. This is the, let me get the technical name for it, scalloped linen ribbon. And this is Pretty Peacock, which does not go with this. It's a totally different green. But what I did was I liked the other side because it's crumb cake. And so all I did was made a bow from that, and I did it beforehand. And sometimes you have to kind of shift, like when I did the bow regular, this was kind of on this side, so I just pulled it to the back. So you might have to kind of putz with it so you see all crumb cake on it. And then I'm just going to flip it over and add a couple glue dots. Because it's a larger bow, I want to put 2 glue dots on to make sure that it stays on there. Like that. And it's just going to, whoops, and then if you can get it off your finger, it's going to make a nice big bow that will fill in this area up here. And it just coordinates so nice. And you can barely see the green. You can see a tiny bit, but it's so little that it's not going to clash with what you already have going. All right, now we just need a sentiment on here. So I have 2 pieces of, or strips of paper. One is 5/8 inch wide, and this one is 3/4 inch wide. Crumb cake and shaded spruce. It doesn't really matter the length of it because I'm going to trim it after I punch it. Now, the banners, pick a punch, or no, this is called, I have the technical, banners pick a punch, I believe it is. This is new in the holiday catalog. I want to use the banner one, the banner side. So one of these is going to fit perfectly in here, the 3/4 inch. But I'm going to show you how we can still use this punch even though 5/8 inch isn't one of these pre-measured distances. I believe this is a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and probably 1 inch there. So first let's do the one that fits in the slot. and just slide it in there. Like I said, it doesn't matter the length because we're going to trim that off. And then I usually flip it over just to make sure it really did hit the channel and that it's uniform. So that's what that one's going to look like. Now for the second one, remember I said it's not going to fit in there. It's kind of between these two sizes, but we can still use it. So we're just going to put it in here, and you can see it moves around all over. All you have to do to make sure that it punches straight is flip it over and then just look to see if it's in the middle. Just visually do it, and it doesn't have to be in that channel. That looks good. Punch it, and there you go. Now let's stamp the sentiment on this. And I kind of chose the one that's the smallest and skinniest one, so it would fit on here. And it says, "May this special season be wrapped in love and joy." So we will just stamp that over here. Hopefully I get it straight. That looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to hand trim it wherever I want, and you don't even need a paper trimmer for that. That looks good. Now we can just match it up to here, and you know this banner side is going to match perfectly because we used a punch. Sometimes when you do it by hand, they're off a little bit. So then you'll just eyeball it and make it in the middle like that, and then trim that one just a little bit longer like that. Okay, now let's just adhere these two together like this, and this is just going to make the card like that. And then my dimensionals, I'm just going to use the larger ones for this one. And I always like to put two on there. If you only put one in the middle, it could shift this way when you're moving it around. All right, let's add this. And remember, if you see anything you like and want to order and take advantage especially of the DSP sale, here's my my blog address is confessionsofstampingaddict.com, and then there's the host code. All right, there's our card. Isn't that fun and simple? So I hope you enjoyed this today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you on Friday morning again. Thank you, everyone. And last time I did this, I could not figure out how to turn off my Facebook Live, but I see the X here, so I promise I'll get better at this, but YouTube Live is new to me. Usually I do them taped, or I do Facebook Live. All right, thanks again for joining me. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.